Hello and welcome back to the channel. Amber here, breaking down the first 3 episodes of the Wheel of Time Season 3. Like and subscribe for more Wheel of Time content, and you can find me on Discord, Blue Sky, and Instagram. And if you'd like to help support the channel, check out Road to Valon on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Now let's get into it. I've covered the first 11 minutes of the episode extensively on the channel, so you can watch that here. So we are jumping ahead. After Yvonne is killed and Siuan Sanche is saved by Moiraine, we get a closer look at what our group has been up to after the events in Falm. And the first thing I want to focus on is the game Rand, Perrin, and Mat are playing, called Snakes and Foxes. Why is this relevant? Well, this is a children's game in the Wheel of Time inspired by the mystery and lure of the Aelfinn and Eelfinn. The Finn are fae, like creatures that live in a different realm. Now, the game is a funny thing because there is no real way to win besides cheating. The next thing to point out comes when Egwene tricks Siuan Sanche into taking her accepted test so she can leave the White Tower as she pleases. Within the test, Egwene is seen as the Amyrlin seat, tracking down Rand, who has gone mad by the sickness of saidin, the male half of the One Power. Egwene is being confronted with one of her greatest fears here, a future in which she has to abide by Tower law and gentle Rand after he has gone mad. But it tells us a lot about how Egwene sees herself and could be a strong foreshadowing of what is to come, because the taint of saidin will eventually catch up to Rand, and this will be something that fractures a chance they have together. The next sequence to look at is Lanfear's attack on our group. While Mat is entranced by his cards that come alive, Perrin is attacked by his own axe, and Egwene is attacked by a mirror image of Rand, and Nynaeve is attacked by an almost zombified-looking gray man. Now, in the books, this event does happen, kind of, but it's due to the fabric of the pattern crumbling called a bubble of evil. But in the show, we see it all happening because of Lanfear. At this point in time, Moiraine and Lanfear are working together. They are both trying to get Rand to leave for a city called Tyr, where if he can claim a sword, he becomes the ruler of the nation. But why is the sword important? Kalendor is a sa'angreal, an object that amplifies how much a man can channel, so it's one of the greatest weapons Rand can use. It's all very important to the story. But instead, Rand decides he will take a different route and lead an expedition to the Aiel Waste to find an army there. The other big aspect of this event is that we learn the gray man who attacked Nynaeve wasn't Lanfear's doing. So now we know that there are other Forsaken roaming around trying to interfere with Lanfear's plans. The last scene to touch on in the episode is of Moghedien, also known as the Spider. Here we can see her holding a man imprisoned. She asks him questions while torturing him until he finally relents. So what is happening here? Well, Moghedien is actually turning this man to the shadow, turning him into a gray man. Afterwards, he will no longer be a man, but another type of shadow spawn. But gray men are a little bit different than Trollocs or Fades. They actually begin as ordinary humans. After they pledge their life to the Dark One, they must also pledge their soul. After this process, they are used as stealth assassins by the Shadow. And they are able to do it because after the transformation is complete, they are unnoticeable. They are so completely average that they slip in and out of places unseen. Now, as we move towards episode 2, the story flashes back to the story of Morgase Tricond, the queen of Andor and the mother of Elayne. We see her pregnant after she has seized the throne in a succession war. So why is this important? Morghese is a powerful ruler, and the Succession War has a really important connection to the Dragon Reborn. Remember that as we move forward. The next scene I want to talk about takes us to Perrin's fellowship. We see him, Loial the Ogier, and Bane and Chiad are two Aiel maidens of the spear. And this is a whole new way of using the ways. We see vines and ornate leaves form into a door, opening, allowing them to exit. This is important because up until now, we haven't seen a waygate used properly with a trefoil leaf key. Now, waygates can be opened by channelers, but the easier way is using a small stone key in the shape of a leaf, and their intended purpose was for Ogier to easily travel long distances so they don't succumb to the longing, the sickness that happens when they leave their steadings for too long. Keep this in mind because Perrin and his party have no channeler with them at this time. So all manner of travel within the ways is up to Loial and this little leaf-shaped stone key. Loial just became the most important person in Perrin's party when it comes to navigating within the ways. We also learn more from Perrin as they exit. He spots two sets of tracks. Through his wolf brother ability, he is able to smell who passed through their path, a man and a woman, and he smells ash. What he is actually smelling is the ashes of Yvonne on Alana's face. The next scene I'd like to talk about is Egwene. Moiraine spots a bruise on her face and she is perplexed where it came from because she healed her after the Forsaken attack in episode 1. But the reason she has a bruise is because it happened in Tel'aran'rhiod, the world of dreams. Egwene isn't just dreaming about being attacked by Rhenna. She is actually being attacked within the world of dreams by Lanfear. And injuries that happen there are brought with you into the waking world. We also get more of the Aiel prophecy from Aviendha. The Karakarn shall spill out the blood of those who call themselves Aiel, as water on sand, and break them as dried twigs. The Karakarn is creation and destruction. If Rand is this Karakarn, he is destined to destroy the Aiel, but save some of them. This is a lot to take in, especially for Rand. Is he capable of destroying these people? How exactly will he do it? Now, within the tower, we learn that Min is posing as a servant and that she's been seeing visions of dead Aes Sedai and warders. A battle within the tower is going to happen. We can't know when, but remember, Min's viewings always come true. But it's always a question of interpretation. But what we do know is death is coming. Within Swan's quarters, Elayne and Nynaeve are tasked with finding the Black Ajah. Swan is confident that because Liandrin didn't attack Nynaeve during the attack in episode 1, that she feels compassion towards her, and this is a weakness that can be used against Liandrin. In the world of dreams, Lanfear is disappointed Rand is in the Aiel Waste instead of going to Tyr to claim Kalendor. As she speaks to Rand, we learn Lanfear is actually the one torturing Egwene. This is where her bruises are coming from. During the attack, Egwene pops into the dream of an Aiel woman bear who pushes her back out, saying, "You don't belong here." Egwene is traveling within the world of dreams on her own. This is a very special talent that very few people can do. She is a powerful dreamwalker. We later learn from Lord Gabriel that the reason Queen Morghese wants Elayne to come home is because there is upset in the nation of Andor. The people are unhappy and there are problems with the military. We don't know why this is happening, but keep it in your back pocket because it will become relevant. Within Swan's study, she talks sense into Mat. The most important takeaway here is that because he blew the horn of Val'ir, he is connected to it. But this makes him a target because it only works for him so long as he's alive. This makes him a target for anyone who wants to summon the heroes of the horn. If Mat dies, anyone could blow the horn and summon an army to fight for them. Up next, we see Morghese speak to her daughter about her duties, commanding her to leave the White Tower. But Elayne wants to be a true leader, someone who forges her own path. This gives Morghese pause, because the last queen named Mordrellin Mantir had an heir, but the heir went missing. And her name was Tigraine. Does this name sound familiar? And because Tigraine went missing, Queen Mordrellin became weak, politically and physically. This is why a missing daughter heir is so important. If anything were to happen to Elayne, there would be another succession war, unless Morghese could manage to have another daughter. Elayne is one of the most important political figures in the world of the Wheel of Time, but the backstory about Queen Mordrellin and her missing daughter Tigraine is incredibly important, so remember her name. After all of this, Elayne is resolute. She will remain in the tower. In the Aiel Waste, Moiraine later speaks to Rand and she wants to know why he's training with the sword when he needs to learn to channel. The problem is, she can't teach him. No woman can. And there aren't many male channelers around to do that job. Does she have someone in mind, or is this just exposition about the male half of the one power? We will have to wait and see. Next, we see Aviendha explode with anger, asking who told someone they were traveling to this location. There is a reason she doesn't want to be found. The Aiel wise women and Rhuarc are finally introduced, and they repeat the Aiel prophecy to Rand. They also seem to believe he might be their Kara Karn, their chief of chiefs. Side note, I love Rhuarc. What a guy. The swagger, the calm intensity, his voice, his relationship with Rand. I love it all so much. And as we move into episode 3, we have a real banger of an opener. The Forsaken meet in an undisclosed location. Lanfear, Samael, and Lord Gabriel, who is actually one of the Forsaken, Ravine. He has been using weaves of compulsion on the Queen Morghese and everyone in her court to make them believe they have been a happy couple for over a decade. It's also very probable that all the problems within the nation of Andor are stemming from him. The nation of Andor really is under threat. It's very likely that when Ravine told Elayne last episode that the captain of the military was let go, that this was also his work, to sow chaos within the most powerful nation in the world of the Wheel of Time, taking it off the chessboard before the last battle comes. The next big piece of information we learn is that the allegiances among the Forsaken are broken. Lanfear tells them that Moghedien is a threat to all of them and that she will kill them all so she can become nameless. Now, Nameless is the one who rules just below the Dark One, commanding both the other Chosen and the world. So Lanfear proposes an alliance, but can she be trusted? Ravine will take the plan to the others, and the big thing here is that he mentions 2 new Forsaken we haven't seen yet, Grendel and Semirhage. So now we know there are 6 named Forsaken so far. He goes immediately to Moghedien, telling her everything. Moghedien and Ravine seem to be working together against Lanfear. We then move to the dungeon, where Joya and Amiko, the 2 captured Black Aes Sedai members, are being held prisoner. Nynaeve and Elayne question them, demanding to know Liandrin's plans and where she is. Nynaeve and Elayne are fed lies, that Liandrin is working with one of the male Forsaken in Tyr so he can take Kalendor for himself, and also that Liandrin is gone to find Mazrim Taim, the false dragon in Saldeia. And Mazrim Taim has been name-dropped a lot. He's a really important person in the story, so remember the name. But Nynaeve and Elayne decide to look for clues and find a sigil drawn under the bed of Liandrin's son. Moving back to the White Tower, we start to see some of Eleida's plans unfold. She brings gifts to the Red Ajah, trying to win favor with them. She wants the Red Ajah to return to its former glory, the most powerful Ajah in the tower, because the Dragon Reborn is here, and the Red Ajah is meant to find and capture him. She wants to call a vote to send out the Red Ajah to cage him. Back in the Waste, we see an attack on a band of traveling tinkers, a non-violent people. But the Aiel are a culture of honor above all else. There's no way they would kill the defenseless. It goes against their way. Or does it? We learn that there is a clan of Aiel who might do this. On the fringes of their society is another clan called the Shido, and they can't be trusted. The Shido are a disruptive warring clan, so we should definitely keep an eye out for anything having to do with them. In the Two Rivers, Perrin meets two hunters for the Horn, Fael and Lord Luke. The White Cloaks have taken Mat's sister and mother and are holding them prisoner to draw Perrin out of hiding. Back in the tower, Elayne finds the key to the sigil. Liandrin must go back to the place of her son's birth to draw the other sigil, and the items stolen from the White Tower are key in her plans. There is an item, the same type of ter'angreal used by the Shanchen. The Black Ajah are probably planning on using it, but on who? But then a gray man appears and shoots an arrow at them. Before they can fight back, they find him dead in the hallway, stabbed. Varen appears and doesn't even ask how it died. Mysterious. We go back to Elaida and learn she also has foretellings, and that her foretellings tell her Andor, the nation Morghese rules over, will be key to winning the last battle, and this is why she left the tower to attach herself to Morghese. We should know that Elaida's foretellings are also correct, but like Min's viewings, there's always room for interpretation, and Elaida's bracelet has some connection to her foretellings. Elaida also slips Min carefully constructed information, knowing she is a plant for Siuan Sanche, knowing she will take it back to the Amyrlin. She tells her the Red Ajah will call a vote in the hall to find and cage Rand. Siuan obviously doesn't want this to happen, so she will have to get the Red Ajah out of the tower before the vote. In the Aiel Waste, we learn Rand will need to go into Ruidion, the place where all prospective clan chiefs will be given a trial. He must do this if he wants to be the Kara Karn. Back in the tower, Min sees a vision of Mat hanging under the same twisted redstone doorframe that we saw in the White Tower's 13th depository in episode 1. Remember, again, Min's viewings always come true, but it's always a question of interpretation. Now we see phase 3 of Elaida's plan. Siuan Sanche is now aware of Elaida's plan to call a vote in the tower, so Siuan has Leanne tell some of the Red Ajah members that they are to leave the tower to find this false dragon Mazrim Taim. Elaida proposed that because the Reds are leaving, someone needs to step in as a new sitter. She wants the position. She wanted the Reds out of the tower to gain the position. Elaida's political machinations are one of my favorite aspects of this episode. Back in the tower, Mat challenges Gawain and Galad to a duel in the Warder Yard. Not only is this fight very entertaining, but we see that after blowing the horn of Valir, he still has his implanted memory of his past lives. He can fight, and he can fight well, and his staff is his preferred weapon of choice. As we move back to Liandrin and Tanchico, she studies the cuff terangrial, and it's special. It's not made to control women, but male channelers. Her plan is to collar Rand just like Egwene was collared in Season 2. But Moghedien is there posing as a servant and hears it all. Now, there's a lot happening in these 3 episodes. Rand is about to embark on a wild journey that will either succeed or fail in rallying the Aiel as their chief. Liandrin and her Black Ajah are getting close to a way to control Rand as a slave with the use of this male terangrial. The White Tower has a remaining dark friend hidden within its walls, and Elaida is sowing chaos, trying to reclaim power for herself. Egwene is starting to use the world of dreams. Moiraine and Lanfear are both trying to control Rand, and Perrin needs to figure out what to do about the Trolloc attacks and the White Cloaks who want to imprison him. It's a great couple of episodes, and the best is yet to come. As we wrap things up, feel free to drop your questions and thoughts into the comment section. Like and subscribe to the channel for more Wheel of Time content, and I'll see you back next time.